web designer is like coming up with a website, and for you to be able to come up with a website, you are supposed to use 3 things, and one of the things that you're supposed to use for you to come up with a good web design is the HTML. The second one is the CSS, and the third one is the JavaScript. So let me start with the HTML. So HTML, first HTML in full is Hypertext Markup Language. So HTML is not a programming language, it is a markup language. And basically HTML is like building a house. You divide the house into various rooms, and this house has walls. So that structure is like the HTML. So now, while using this markup language, HTML, you are going to input the audio, the buttons, the links, text, and many other things. So these will fall under the HTML. The second thing is the CSS, the cascading style sheet. So after you've built your house, you will have to paint this house and also decorate this house. So the act of changing the appearance of this particular house is the CSS in the design. So you make your design look nice. And the third thing is the JavaScript. So after you've built your house, you've separated the walls, you've decorated also your house, so you basically need the electricity and other appliances in this house to make your house or your rooms look more interactive. So this act of making your house look more interactive, now we are going to apply the JavaScript. So JavaScript is going to make this particular web design look more interactive. So I want us to start by creating a HTML. So we mentioned 3: the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. So let's start with the HTML. So to create a HTML, you need the following 3 things. And the first one is the text editor. You should also have a web browser, and you should have a basic HTML code. Now, the first thing, basically you will have to install a text editor, and that is the Visual Studio Code. And if you may not be necessarily required to install the Visual Studio Code, because you can also use the Notepad. The Notepad also operates the same way as the Visual Studio Code, but the Visual Studio Code is good for the beginners, the beginners. So the first thing, you will have to create a folder on your desktop. So let's start. We create a folder on the desktop, and this folder, let me name it my website. My website. So this is my folder. Then after creating your folder, you now open the code editor. I'll be using the VS Code, the Visual Studio Code here. Now from the Visual Studio Code, we now want to create a HTML code. So you open the folder click there on open the folder. Now my folder is here, my website. I select it, and then now I open this particular folder of mine. So yes, I trust the authors. So this is my folder. So I now want to open a file in this particular folder. So I simply click here. Let me maximize. So I simply click here on the addition button, and I write index .html. So my file must entail or must have .html. So you must include .html in your file. So after creating a file, let's write a sample code, very simple code, or to this point let's learn to this point how to create how to generate how to create a folder and how to create a file in this particular code editor or the installer or the Visual Studio Code of ours. So this is how we are supposed to do. So on the second video we are going to learn how to generate or run a simple HTML code. So in this part we are going to be specific, look at the HTML. So on the first video we mentioned 3 things that makes up the web design, and that is the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript. Now on this, let's look at the HTML, and I have divided this HTML into 3 parts, and the first part is the HTML structure and heading. The second part, we look at the image, link, and the list, and the last thing we shall look at how to come up with the table, form, and the footer. So under HTML basically uses tags. So we have various tags, each tag representing its own meaning or function. So we shall look at them in this particular part. So let's start with the first part, and that is the HTML structure and heading. So this part creates 4 things, and the first thing is the web page structure. The second thing is the web page title, and we have the main heading, and the last thing in this part is the introductory paragraph. So let's start by coming up with a sample of this part. So remember, we already created the HTML folder and the file in this particular folder, and the name of our folder was my website, and the file was index.html. So let's start by writing a sample of this HTML program. So we shall start by writing our header, and that is the doc type. This is the opening, it opens our website or our HTML, and then we continue HTML. HTML, and then we have head, also have the opening tag and the closing one. So we have the title. The title will follow. And now the title, let me put student HTML learning website. And then you close the head. So this will be the title of my website or of my HTML file. And then we move on to the body. Yes. So under body, let me impute the header. Start with the header 1. My header 1 will be welcome to HTML learning. Welcome to HTML learning. And then let me input the paragraph. So this is the HTML of paragraph. Let me say this website helps students learn basic HTML. And then we close. Then we close that part. Then I've closed the HTML. So open, I've closed the HTML body. I have closed the body. So this is it. So now let's see the output in our file that we had already created. So here it is, my website. Here is my index file. So let me open. Okay. It has already opened. So my HTML file is here. So far we have nothing. So let's run this. We first save this, Control S. So after we have saved, we come here and we run. So this is our output, our first part. I want to subdivide this into two. So this is what I have. So from this code, this HTML code, this is the output of this particular code. So let's explain this code. So the doc type, so the doc type, our first statement here, the doc type. So our first here statement, the doc type here, this one, number one, simply defines the HTML document, and for position 2, that is the HTML, starts the web page, and the third one, which is the header, it contains the page information, and the title here, which is students learning website, that one shows the browser tab table. So I can find it here, that is the browser tab title. Then we have the body. So first, after that, we close the header. We had opened the header, so the head. So under head we have the title, and our title is that one, student HTML learning website. And then we have H1. This is header 1, which for my case it's welcome to HTML learning. So we have various tags for header. We have header 1 to header 6. So my header, which will be my main heading title, my main header of this particular web, that is welcome to HTML learning. And P stands for paragraph, and my paragraph here is these websites help students basic HTML. So this is my my paragraph, and we can now close the body, and we can also close the HTML. So apart from this, we can also add something in this, and that will be, I can add, for example, make this particular part here be more bolded. So I can add for example, I can italize it, or bold. Let us bold. We use the tag B. Let me bold this, welcome, Control X. Yes, then we save, then we restart. Now there is a problem. Let me so if bold is not working for this case, let's use strong. Now I have seen. So we were bolding our header 1, but I wanted to bold or to criticize on the website, even though I've already, my header was already bolded. So let me just delete this. Let me delete this. come. Yes, let me save it and rerun it. This one is not supposed to be here. Welcome to HTML. Yes, then yes, good. So I want my paragraph. I had a little bit confused, so let me bold. I think B will work. Yes, B will work. It's a tag for bold. I want to bold the name website, so we paste it there and then we save and then we open, as you can see. So I can also italize it so that it can look somehow different. I italize. Yes, just trying to italize this website. Where is it? Yes, website. Yes, my website has been italicized here. So these are some of the tags that we'll be looking at. So for this, we've just looked at the tag for paragraph, which is here. We've looked at the tag B, which is bolding, and apart from bolding, it can also be represented as strong. We also have the tag for header. This is header 1, which is welcome to HTML, which is here. We've also used the tag for body. Now this is now the content for this particular website. So inside the body we are going, you can input the video, audio, plus many other things that we shall look on our next part. So basically this was part 1, and for part 1 we've just looked at the HTML structure and the heading. So in the next video now, let's look at our second part, and that will be part 2. That will be image, how to input the image, link and the list on this particular HTML code. So in this second part, let's look at how to input or insert the image, the link and the list. So let's continue. So we want to add the image. So let me start with this. I need to input the exclamation mark on this. Yes. So this is like a command, in just this. So this is like my comment, and a comment is always, it's like a non-executable program, so it will not be executed in this case, but it will be guiding us on what we are doing. So that is a representation of what we are doing. We want to input the image. So I should be having an image in my website here. So this was the folder. So I can also add an image here. Let me check whether I have a good image here. Any image that can be used as yes, let me use this as my image. Yes, so let me use this as my image. So I can also come here again. So I open. So I want to input the image. So this is the code for the image. Image, use src equal to, we open, and then now the image, the location of my image or the name of my image. I can just come here, here. So far it's png. Let me rename it to image. It's just like that. Then here I can put my image. Yes, it's already there. So this is my image. Yes, I've already inputted. So my image, it has detected the image that is in my folder website. So after inputting the image, I want to move on to the link. So for the link, so before you even input a link, we can break. To break is simply to have a space in between. So I can break. So yes, I can break. Then I add now a link. So I just copy paste this. Let me do this. Yes, here is what I have. This is what I want. Yes. And then I write link. So that is it. So on the link, so I can input a link maybe for your own revision. For example, a link where we can get notes or whichever. So anything can work. So and then so what link? Which link will I input? Let me see whether I get a link, a sample of the link that we are going to input here. A sample of the link that we are going to input here. As Chrome is responding, let's wait. I want to see a link, so let's do this. basically use this as my link. I come back. So here we are. So I first write href is what represents my link equal to opening. Then I input that. So again. So after that we close. Yes, good. So we close it. So that I've used the link. So again, after using the link, I can also, yes, and I've closed. So I do not closed here also. Under the image you don't have to close, but the link will close. So I have inputted the link, and the last thing under this is the list. So let's break this. So under list, let me first break, and then I can introduce another header. So we already had header 1, so I can also include header 2. So header 2. Yes. So under header 2, because I want to add the list, so let me include topics in topics web design, topics covered in web design. So that will be my header 2. And then now I can add. So for this case I'm going to add an ordered list. So an ordered list is UL. That is an ordered list. And under this we now list the first list. The first topic that we shall cover is basically HTML. Yes. Then the second one will be CSS, and the third one will be JavaScript. So these are the ordered lists, the list, an ordered list. Then we also have the ordered list. Let me come back here. So first, before we move on to so this is just part of the ordered list, an ordered list. So let's try and look at the ordered list. Ordered list. Again, just for demonstration, let's repeat the list that we have. HTML. The second one is that one. The CSS. And the third one is this one. JavaScript. So these will mark the end of our lists in this part. So let's save this, Control S, then we come here and run our browser. So here it is. So this is what we have. So now you can see our image is too large. We can also reduce the image. We can reduce the image. Then we come here. So it is possible. We can put let me use 300. Let me see this. Come here. Yes, good. So I've used the image of 300, and this is what I've seen, and this is what is here. So basically this is it. So just but to explain this part, so here we have the image. This is just a comment. Number 11, this is the comment. Then images are see. Now here the image, you saw what I did. So we did have reduced the image to 300. Now it has fit my website there. I've also inserted the link here, the href. So when you want to read more on website, you can follow this particular link. Then I've added topics to be covered. So for topics to be covered in this web design, here it is. So we have an ordered list. So for an ordered list, the difference between an ordered list and ordered list: for an ordered list we don't use numbers, but for ordered list we use the numbers. So basically that is the second part, and that is how to impute the image, the link, and the list. So let's proceed on to part number 3, where we are now going to add the table, form, and the footer. So how to add the table, the form, and the footer. So how do we do it? So how do we add the table? So we do a continuation. So I want us to add another header which is just header 2 for a table. So this is what I will do. I will open and then impute header 2, close, and then student time, student timetable. So after student timetable, I can impute the border of this particular table, the border of my table, the border of my table, the border of my table. Which border should I put? Let me use border. Let's try the border one. We will see the outcome, how it will be. Control Z. So let's say there is a problem here. Yes, that. Yes, so here. So we now continue. So after including the table border, let's include the table row. So we want to come up with a student table, the table row. So the table row will be represented by TR, the table row. Yes, that way. Then we press enter. So our row basically will have the header, and for this case I want my header to be divided into 2 rows. That will be the header and the subject. So let's start with the first table header, DH, and then day. Let's see, day, yes. So that will be my first row. Then my second row, this is it. So we have what is called a subject. So we have the day and the subject, only those two. Then we close this table of ours. Yeah, only those two. Now the third thing that we are going to learn after table is how to come up with a form. So I want again to include another header that will say, that will be header 2 again. Now in this header 2, this will be student. So first I have not yet done with the table. I think I'll be missing something. So this was table row, this was table row, table header. So I need to include also the data cells. So before we move on to the form, let me again include the data cells. table row, how I will be collecting my data sets. So that is TD. We come here, Monday, use Monday, my first data set. The second one, TD, will be HTML, basics, then we close, then this will be the table. That is it. So under form we have these students now, registration form. Now that will be my header. So under this we have what is called, we are going to work out on the form, and on the form we will have the name of this form. So the name of this form, and then we break. So we will have a space on this name form, and then we again open. What do? We input type, type. So what is it? It is basically the text. Then we break. Then we break. So after we break, we'll have a space. Then another thing is input again, type. What do we have? It is value, input type, and we add, let me see, submit, yes. Value, register. So let's see if this will work. Register, yes. After this we close the form. So that is the only thing that we need in our form, the text, and submit. So the last thing under this is to include the footer. So the footer is always at the bottom, and so the footer will come in the form of a paragraph. That is it. The footer 2026 HTML learning, HTML learning, we are learning HTML learning website. So after that, remember we had opened our body, so we need to close our body. some changes in yes, good. So here it is. So this is it. So here we have to include something. It's always at footer. Yes, at good. So let me go through this. So under table we have them. We've looked at it. We've included the table here, day and subject. As you can see, we have day and subject, 2 rows. Now what is in this row? In the day, the data, we have Monday, and the subject is HTML basics. Then student registration, we should input the name and submit, and the footer is at 2026 HTML website. So let's save this. Let's see the changes. Yes, at 2026. So this is how we come up with a website. So next time we'll learn how to include the CSS, then we'll move to the JavaScript. Thank you so much.